Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to be taking a look at my slime goddess, SOUKA, the Dawn Moon Phantom. So she is a fairly good character after everything is said and done, with a very interesting gimmick that is going to be dependent on a few things to really max out. But I think it could still add a little bit of spice to really any team. So first off, she is space, she is physical on Schemer, Wholehearted Devotion, and Pretty Sparkle. Uses a sword, okay, fine. She is a single target DPS alt, so mine's at 580 because I put all the rocks in her. I am going to get her to 120 eventually, so she'll be the full 600%, or whatever it is. But, her first skill, guaranteed synergy rate for everybody, and then 50% synergy power. But if it's turns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is 100% synergy power. So it's pretty much a Divine General Diablo for the first 5 turns, and then it's a little bit worse than that afterwards. But it's only 50 points instead of 90 like Diablo is, so that's very good. And this applies to everybody. There are no other restrictions apart from this turn thing. So any team that can use synergy, you can put SOUKA on. And especially if you're doing it in a burst setting, Valor Cup, any other burst team, 3-turn fights or whatever, you will get the max power, like you're running Diablo, but for 40 points less, which is great. Her second skill is the Spice. It is the Gilgamesh Gate of Babylon attack, where depending on how many hits you've done in the first 5 turns and what your attack stat is, you will do a lot of extra damage on turn 5. But only turn 5. And it's based on how many hits you do, whether it be follow-up orbs, the normal 6 that you send, typically multi-hits. It's going to require a few different things again to cap out all the way, but I still think you can make use of it even without a lot of those extra gimmicks. And then on top of that, if you're part of the Schemer Force, you get extra stacks. And then on top of it, you get a 50% green gauge increase for 3 turns. So, she is Divine General Diablo for all intents and purposes, with a different gimmick, but still has the green gauge, still has a synergy power. So, fantastic. Her Valor trait, nerfs blues, don't care. Her actual trait gives you protection gauge every 2 turns, very, very good trait. So, very, very solid character. But let's do some science on this Nocturne Fang skill, final combo attack. Okay, we're going to run this team just, to give you an idea of what her gimmick does. SOUKA, Laplace, 3 new characters, and then Protector of Peace, Hinata, going to be pretty important for now. Space Reamer just as an attack buffer, and then Visions of Coleus belong to be an alt-swapping character. I don't really care what color it is, because SOUKA converts everything anyways. So, SOUKA needs to activate her green buff skill at least once in order for the gimmick to take effect. So you could do it on turn 5, it's just that you wouldn't gather any hits towards her skill apart from turn 5. So you want to use it as early as possible. So we are running the skill point team to have us get 42 skill points so we could use the orb change and her green buff. So let's see what happens here. So boom, final combo, you get this weird black hole portal thing going on down here. And that tells you that the skill is now active. So every time you hit Clayman, it's going to pop a little counter up in the corner, and we can kind of watch that. So let's do Blanc. Actually, no, let's leave it like this. All right, so Hinata is not a Schemer unit. She's not on the Force. She's on a few forces, but not. Laplace and SOUKA are. So they are going to get +2 hits to the counter versus Hinata's 1. Because of the gimmick skill and how it's worded. Schemer Force characters gain a bonus attack. Okay, cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Hinata, 1 hit right there. Hinata, another hit, 2 hits. But then Laplace and SOUKA come in, and they're doing 2 hits a turn. So now we're counting 10 hits right there. Okay. Boom. It's still activated. The green buff lasts for 3 turns, so you don't have to use it really again immediately. You can just wait until it runs out. And so here, we've got a pretty decent hand. Okay. Now let's add in the follow-up orbs that are only applied to greens and the multi-hit gimmick now. So this applies to green orbs. So now we're going to have these 6 orbs because we're going to convert with Soe. It'll be full 6. And then we'll get 6 follow-ups because they're greens. And then each of them will get a multi-hit, which is 2 additional hits per orb. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Another 12 hits, plus the 6 here, plus the 6 follow-up. A lot of hits. So let's go Hinata, Hinata, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we'll see this counter really start to jump up. And it doesn't matter if you hit a barrier or Clayman, it will count. So, 16 hits, 22 hits, alright, counter. And then SOUKA, 34 hits. And now we're jumping up. 34 up to 40 hits, plus the follow-up, 2, 4, 6, 8. And because these are Schemer follow-up orbs, because they were done by SOUKA and Laplace, they're getting that extra hit. So now, I wish we could permanently see how many we have, but we can't, unfortunately. So here, we're going to use the multi-hit skill again, and then we're going to bring Blanc in. And we're going to alt-swap away, therefore giving us a SOUKA orb. We're going to use Soe again to give us a full hand of greens, which still has the follow-up gimmick, now has the multi-hit gimmick because we used it with Hinata, and now we have a full hand again. So we're going to get another butt-ton of orbs here, not butt-ton of hits, 67, 80. It turns gold once you... It changes colors once you hit certain tier levels of hits. The next is going to be at 150. So 96, 98. We're at 98 hits. And the entire time we are getting extra attack from Soe, which matters because the final attack bonus, or whatever it's called, final combo attack, is based on your attack stat and max attack. So, SOUKA is already up to 32,000 attack. That's pretty good. It will go higher, and as it goes higher and higher, it will just do more and more damage. So we're back on turn 4. Alright, let's use Blanc again here to alt-swap away. She has no more orbs, that's great. So let's bring Hinata back in. Let's use her multi-skill. Let's use the follow-ups because we got to do it because it ran out. Let's use Soe to convert again to give us a full hand of greens. And this is how you really max out SOUKA's buff, is by using the multi-hit plus the follow-up orbs plus sending full hands. If you don't have this Hinata, it's fine. Like, you won't hit nearly the same kind of hit count that I am, but you can still get some value with just using Laplace and the follow-up orbs. There are other units that can do a multi-hit, like Commander Hinata, but we're up to 46 hits. It changes at 150, and I believe that is the cap to where the most amount of swords will hit. Every tier, every color level you go up determines how many of the swords actually hit Clayman at the end of turn 5, which it is now turn 5. So let's do this. Boom. And then that's all we have. So let's go ahead and convert this. We'll go ahead and just send these alts because there's nothing else we can really do about it. We don't have enough points to use the synergy buff, unfortunately, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and send it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The alts will still count as hits. They just don't get the follow-up orbs, which is kind of unfortunate. So 1, U, and then SOUKA comes in. I might have to... Okay, yeah, we'll have to redo it so we can see her ult somewhere else. But they are counting as hits. So now we're up to 160. We've hit that cap. It's now rainbow colored. Okay, cool. He's still got maybe like 2 million HP left over. And then after he's done, let's watch the skill come in. Oh, counterattacks worked well too. Final combo attack and blah 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 blah. 1.6 million damage per hit times like 30 or something. I don't know how many swords actually hit. But that is what happens when you really, really cap SOUKA out. And you play into the gimmick, and you give her a high attack stat. You give her a lot of different hits to max out that hit counter. That is her gimmick. And if you can really play into it, you can kill quite a few things in this game. Maybe not everything, but a lot. But it only happens on turn 5. So if Clayman were to live here for some reason, and we went to turn 6, her gimmick would just not exist anymore. It's not going to do another big wave of hits like that on turn 6, or turn 10, or turn 20. It is only turn 5. Alright, let's do it again in a slightly different setting. We're going to go into Tempered Edge, Clayman, sure, whatever. But we're going to change the Protector from SOUKA to Velzard, so we're not going to do as much damage. We're still going to get a few things from her. We're going to get the full convert, not the rainbow. But we've also taken off Hinata. So this is now assuming you don't have a multi-hit character, and you just have the free-to-play Laplace. And I still want to see how much we can actually get out of SOUKA's skill with only having one sort of gimmick that's going to play into it. And no one giving us extra attack now, because we are not stacking attack with the Inspire gimmick from SOUKA. It should still be enough to pretty much clear out anything that's beginner to mid-game, because they just simply won't have the HP for it. But it is definitely going to be not as powerful as doing, what 1.6 million a hit times however many number of swords that is. So here we can convert again. This is a green orb focused stage, so let's do the green plus the green buff. And then next turn we can burn with Violet so we don't get locked in or anything like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bringing Violet also means that we have another Schemer unit, so we're getting the extra hit counts. So we're still getting, a decent amount per turn. We're getting 12, which is double with the orbs. That's a great hand right there, actually. Wow. Alright, perfect. So we are type disadvantage here, but because of the sword gimmick, I don't really think we need to worry about it. So let's burn him to make sure that he can't do anything. Let's do the follow-up orbs. And then let's actually... let's bring Rimuru in so we can give ourselves a little bit of defense. And that does take away from our number of Schemer hits that we're going to get. So we're not going to get nearly as many stacks on the hit counter because Rimuru is not on Schemer versus Violet. But I want to do this just so we can survive a little bit. So 18 hits, we're going to get 20 hits here, plus the follow-up, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 28 hits. Okay, cool. On to turn 3, a super counter, that counts, so that'll be 30 hits right there. So I guess if you're going to enchant your jackets for this team, you're going to want to go full counterattack rate, just to make sure you can get as many stacks as possible from this skill. And then Rimuru, you can go away now. I don't really care about you. And then, I mean, yeah, we don't really have to do anything else. The green buff is still active. The follow-up orbs are still active. So let's just use Velzard and convert again with a full hand of Schemer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And even though we're not getting a high attack stat, even though we're not truly bringing all the characters necessary to play into the gimmick, we are still getting a respectable amount of stacks. Just from being Schemer, just from having the free-to-play Laplace. So he's available. And SOUKA doesn't need to be up front, right, anymore. So let's use her skill again just to make sure we can get the green buff again. But let's just send her away now, I guess. And let's just do this. And we'll do Velzard. And even though she's in the back, it's like an area stage effect almost, to where it doesn't matter who's up front. You're going to be playing into the counter, no matter who is there. Which is nice. So you can send SOUKA away if you want. If you're using SOUKA, maybe not the best idea because you want those attack stacks. But you don't have to have her up front. So we're up to 65 stacks or something. I mean, that's pretty good right there. People are looking a little bit low on HP, so you know what? Let's use Laplace's buff again, or the follow-up orb, and let's take him out for SOUKA. And then we'll just send this hand. Actually, I really hope he doesn't kill someone. We'll just have to deal with it, I guess, if it does happen. But this is the turn, so if we don't kill, which we might actually kill... no, I think we're okay. Alright, cool. Because there's no burn or anything. And, let's watch and see how much damage these hits actually do, now that we're going to be above 80. And then he's going to have his turn. He kills SOUKA, unfortunately. Okay, that's kind of unfortunate. But it doesn't matter, because the skill is still active. Final combo, and we're doing 280k a hit? Something around there? Like, he's dead. He's super duper dead. I think that was 280. Let me pause and let me freeze frame that or something. Hold on. Yeah, that is definitely 283,533 damage. Times whatever. times whatever. So even if you don't have like the best team to go into the gimmick, you can still get away with quite a bit. Even though you don't have super high attack stats, we could have used Reamer's attack stat right there to really make it jump up a little bit, because it is just like your end of turn one. We could have gotten quite a bit higher. SOUKA was dead, right? But it's still there. It's still able to annihilate a lot of different things in this game. It's just dependent on how much you're really going to play into it. And since Laplace is free, you're guaranteed that. There's more than a few schemer characters who are going to get the double count. So, you know, I think it's pretty good. And we haven't even used SOUKA's first skill yet. Let's do that. Alright, let's put her on Visions of Coleus, because it is a space team that gets extra damage against wind. We're going to change up the team a bit, so we've got SOUKA instead of Jean, we've got Leon instead of the 5th slot, whoever that may be. Alt, EX Alt, that'll definitely help, and then we're going to make Violet our single target DPS character. And this should work very well, because this is a synergy-focused team. We're getting synergy rate from Lumi, we're going to get synergy resistance down from Blanc, we're going to get, hopefully in 5 turns, 100% synergy power from SOUKA, and it has no restriction. So, and even if Lumi wasn't giving synergy rate, SOUKA would give it, so we don't really need Lumi at all either, except for the extra damage buff. And on the plus side, since the starting hand is mostly greens, I mean, you can use the 15-point skill and get away with it, and you can get a little bit extra gauge for this while activating the final combo. And so even though not everyone here is antagonist, we do have 2 characters who are going to add to the hit. So on top of hopefully getting to nuke on turn 5, if you for some reason am lacking a little bit extra damage, then maybe the swords come in and they can get you that final little extra bit. And Lumi is stacking attack, which means that you will get your swords will do more damage because you're stacking attack there. What a not great hand. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. So let's just do this. We don't have the multi-hits, we don't have the follow-up orbs now, so we're not going to have the most craziest of stacks, but we should still be okay. We just have to break a barrier, so we'll kind of have to make do with that. Maybe we don't actually kill. Alright, that's a good hand right there. SOUKA, I mean, we don't really need to use her at all until turn 5, ideally. So let's bring Leon in for SOUKA. We don't need her green buff because we're not really using greens anymore. And then let's do the rainbow orbs from Rimuru since we've got it. And that'll give us the EX Alt for Violet immediately. So we're good. So rainbow convert. My Rimuru is skill fuse, so we could do it again if we wanted to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. We'll break the barrier. We're putting hits on. Violet is an antagonist, so she's getting the double hit as well. So 3 turns in, we're mid-20s on the hits. Not super impressive, but still something. And it's still activating, even though SOUKA's in the back. Doesn't really matter. Okay, nerfing the skills that we're not using. This is turn 4. We gotta break the barrier again, which could be a bit interesting. But let's send Violet to the back after we use these stacks. And it doesn't matter that Violet's in the back and SOUKA's up front. Her buff will hit everybody. And because we're using it before turn 5, or at turn 5, depending, it's going to be that full 100% buff. So let's take you out. Okay, cool. We'll use the full power, so 100% right here. And then we will bring Leon in for Rimuru. And we'll just do his convert, and it'll change all 3 of the orbs. Perfect. And I guess we probably could have done the weakness resistance. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So barrier, barrier, barrier. Okay, yep. Still have to break it. We'll have to contend with that for a little bit. So if you're going to try and do the stage, you should probably bring Laplace. I don't think he adds more barriers, though, on turn 5. Yeah, so you just have to do 3 hits and then break it. But we have 300 points. We have the EX ult. We already have the synergy power buff, so we're good there. Let's take SOUKA out. And then let's do the magic buff, the alt buff, the weakness strike, and the synergy down. Let's do the orb change so we can break the barrier before we nuke. And this should be a decent amount of damage. Maybe not a killing blow, but a decent amount. And it kind of just gives you an idea of what you can do with it in a setting. So we look at Violet. She does have guaranteed synergy, synergy power 100%. Pretty good. So let's break the barrier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Send Blanc, send Violet. Do we actually kill? I don't know. But we are also adding to the hit stack. And so maybe the swords do actually end up finishing this fight off. 451k, alright, decent. Blanc does 1.1 million. Violet does... Oh, okay, he's dead. 5 turns. Look at that. 5.6 million damage. That was EX2, by the way. So that was the final stage where you can get the dupe of Laplace. And these are, besides SOUKA, and, well, Leon's new, but you don't have to bring Leon. That was pretty easy. SOUKA did her job. She buffed us turn 1 so we could get some extra skill points off those 4 green orbs. It activated the hit thing, which if we didn't kill with Violet, may have been the damaging difference. And we were able to give Violet that massive 100% synergy buff and send her away and hold on to it. So everything that you've done with Divine General Diablo, as far as synergy buff, SOUKA's going to do that. And if you were using Diablo mostly in like a burst team, SOUKA's going to do that, but she's much, much cheaper. So I think this SOUKA is fantastic. Even if her gimmick is slightly gimmicky, I guess. What's the other way to put it? Annoying. Difficult to work around, difficult for new players to grasp because they're just like, what the fuck is going on? And I don't blame you for that. I'm not calling you idiots. It's just, it's a weird skill. You gotta have some knowledge of what needs to happen in the game for you to truly understand it. And new players, they aren't gonna have that working knowledge. But hopefully I gave you a bit of an idea on how well it can be used in, optimal and suboptimal settings with not the best team around or not the team directly related to SOUKA. She can still support. She can still be thrown on many, many different teams and still be effective at supporting them rather than supporting herself. And that is the mark of a good character. Can you do damage? Yes. Can you support people? Yes. Okay. I like it. Alright, I think we'll end the showcase there. I think we got a pretty general idea of what she is doing, whether or not she's doing the gimmick or she's just being a generic support character. I think she's going to work well in a lot of different places. So, she's pretty good. But let me know what you guys think of SOUKA. What do you think of her gimmick? There are still a lot of other factors that we maybe didn't touch on as much in regards to her actual skill and what it takes to max out, but maybe we'll go a bit deeper into that in a different video. But as far as just a generic showcase overview of what she's meant to do, I think we did a pretty good job. But that's it for me. Take it easy, guys, and I'll see you all later.